Welcome back, Dota 2 fans. Game 3, best of 5 Grand Finals ESL One Hamburg North American qualifiers. Evil Geniuses with a 2-0 lead. We'll see what the composure of VGJ is like in this third game. It's been a rough go. The last game particularly was one-sided. Some really good Spirit Breaker play from Crit, propelling his team to the nil advantage. MRP, Franz here to chronicle the action in this third game. What kind of turns do you think VGJ takes in this one, Franz?
Well, we'll see if they decide to ban the Spirit Breaker coming out from Crit again. I mean, that was just an amazing Spirit Breaker performance, but if anything, the other thing that VGJ.Storm have to focus on is its their sort of ability to take fights in the early and mid game. And I think where Evil Geniuses really shined the last game was just coming out of the laning phase in a good position and then pushing it even harder in the mid game, just getting so many key pickoffs, winning so many team fights, and really just winning the game, creating space for themselves from there. So VGJ.Storm, I think, again, in game 2, they did a little bit better in the early game than they did in game 1. This time, maybe try to focus on not losing too many team fights in the mid game.
So EG will take away the patented Stand King glitch pick, as he does, or as they do have first pick. So it definitely looks like a plan from Fear. See what the response is from VGJ. There's no Earthshaker in the pool. Necrolight's still there though.
I mean, this feels sort of like a draft advantage from Evil Geniuses right now. It certainly feels like VGJ.Storm feel obligated to ban both the Venomancer and the Spirit Breaker. So Evil Geniuses, they take away the Lich. Once again, VGJ.Storm, they have a 100% win rate with that Lich. Actually, not anymore. It's an 80% win rate with the Lich. And VGJ.Storm, they pick up the AA, which I believe they haven't had a ton of success with. And it's not that the hero's bad or that they're bad with the hero, but maybe just the lineups they've had with Ancient Apparition haven't worked out for them. So we'll see how it goes for them this game. I think the defining feature of the VGJ.Storm drafts are really just Francis's ability to play on those position 4 heroes, but also the cores on VGJ.Storm just being able to work with Francis to look for kills. And instead of picking the position 4 hero, it looks like they pick up a Void, which is a little bit of a change in pace.
So for a couple of different reasons, Necro is very good against Void, both in lane throughout the game. He can chip the Void down in lane. He has an ultimate that can kill him from 50, 40, 60% HP, which doesn't allow him to use Time Walk. I think that's definitely on EG's radar, but a very potent team fight opening from VG.
Yeah, I mean, VGJ.Storm, they have their team fight really covered here already. The only problem with a Necrophos pick for Evil Geniuses is that there's an Ancient Apparition on the board, which is really good against Necrophos, but also Void is a natural diffusal buyer, and I think the combination of those two heroes probably puts Evil Geniuses away from second picking the Necrophos. Instead, they pick up the Kunkka, gives them a little bit of extra team fight, gives Crit a position 4 hero, and it really doesn't give out a lot of information about Evil Geniuses draft. So if you're Fear, you look at VGJ.Storm's draft, it looks very, so far it looks very team fight, pick off oriented. The Chrono sets up for the Ancient Apparition ulti. Void himself is a hero that wants to fight as much as possible, so EG can go one of 2 routes. They can decide, hey, we're just going to dodge the fighting completely, go for some more split push oriented lineups in the second phase, like Puck, Anti-Mage, which is banned out, and whatnot. So, Evil Geniuses probably have a much better read on how VGJ.Storm want to play than vice versa.
Yeah, not much in this one. EG themselves going to be the ones to ban out Jakiro. Has a nice combination with the Void as well. Contribute a lot of damage to that Chronosphere.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best Jakiro performances I've ever seen, especially from the off lane. I mean, Universe did a ton of work. He won the lane pretty handily with the help of Crit, especially after that first split. And Universe did a really good job of fighting in the mid game. So Evil Geniuses obviously value the Jakiro and Puck hero a lot this series.
Yep, and won't allow their opponents to take them. The Clinks ban that we were mentioning last game is going to be opted for here from Stan King, VGJ side.
Yeah, the Clinks, or the Arteezy Clinks sort of gives Evil Geniuses a way to fight the Void in the mid game, because Clinks is a hero that comes online really quickly around level 6 all the way until level 18, and so if Evil Geniuses do get Clinks, it gives EG a way to win one of their lanes, and also gives them a way to fight the Void early, because one of Void's weakest stages or one of the stages that are really delicate for Void is when the Void hits level 6 and beyond, making sure that he gets those few first pick offs so that his mid game is a little bit easier. And e.g., they pick up Beastmaster, which provides a little bit of split push, provides a little bit of vision control, but most importantly, it gives them a way to burst the Void at the start of every fight.
Yeah, long duration silence there, so likely to see the Lincoln Sphere come out from the Void at some point, but definitely a universe signature is that Beastmaster. Gives them a little bit of vision as well, maybe help crit initiate, and a bit of extra push.
The Sand King pick gives Francis a position for roaming here, and VG.Storm, they pick up Necrophos themselves. It feels like EG don't exactly have heroes that deal with Necrophos well at the moment. I mean, Beastmaster is not the worst against Necrophos, especially if you get the Roar off and you get the Necro books before the Necrophos gets his Ghost Shroud off. But Evil Geniuses, they have 2 core picks remaining to sort of counterpick this Necrophos. Unfortunately, the first 3 picks aren't like superb, although they're not bad. EG probably want to look for a hero that sort of hard counters both the Void and the Necrophos.
Anti-Mage is banned. Perhaps would have been one of the options.
Lone Druid.
Alright, they go a much different route. So instead of killing the Necrophos and the Void, they're just gonna look to kite. And VGJ.Storm, they don't really have heroes that jump the Lone Druid well. The Void can, but if Arteezy watches his positioning well on the Lone Druid, then he should be perfectly fine in these engagements. Usually when you play against a Lone Druid, you want to do one of 2 things. Either you shut him and his team down in the early game, or in the mid-late game, you're actually able to get on top of him with heroes like Lifestealer, Slark, for example. Although Slark's not the best. But, just heroes that can get on top of him and deal a ton of damage so that Lone Druid's forced to sort of back off or be less effective in the fights.
Queen of Bane ban from VG.Storm, 2nd game in a row against Sumail. And similarly, VGJ looking for their 747 hero, more than likely. They could flex the Necrophos mid with the safe lane Void. So still a little variability.
But EG, they probably have to ban a mid laner here if I had to guess, unless the Necro ends up going mid. But something that VG.Storm might work well with is a Medusa in the mid lane. I think they won against DC in Game 3 with a Medusa. And if VG.Storm end up picking like another tanky core, Evil Genius's lineup isn't really configured to burst down multiple targets simultaneously, right? Because a lot of their initiation is a single target right now. Kunkas, in a way, is a single target initiator, as is the Beastmaster. And Lone Druid basically has to work off of the crowd control coming out from his team. Speaking of crowd control, usually when you have a Lone Druid, you want a hero in the mid lane that can sort of secure space and sort of help the Lone Druid help his team fight in the early game. So they pick Ember Spirit, one of the best early game fighters, actually. I think Ember Spirit is probably one of the strongest heroes from the level 7 to level 12 range. Just that level 4 Flame Guard and Searing Change just being so effective in the early game, or the mid game.
The root very strong against the Void here as well. Is a typical Boots of Travel builder, so you can get on top of the Hawk, join the Beastmaster when he rolls up a target. So yeah, I really like that pick from EG. Allows them to set pace.
Yeah, set pace, and it also gives them a hero that, relatively speaking, is a good wave clear and a good split pusher in the mid game. And VG.Storm, they actually don't have any safe wave clear aside from Ancient Apparition ulti, so you can see a scenario in the mid game where if both teams are break even or EG is slightly ahead, the Ember Spirit definitely has the advantage when it comes to pushing out waves, which gives a little bit of space for his team, gives a little bit of map control. So VG.Storm, they need a pick to respond to this Ember. I mean, they have enough lockdown theoretically for the Ember through the Sand King, Void, and Necrophos. The problem is being able to make the fight work from there, right? Because if you can't burst him down, or if you lock him down and you have trouble with his other heroes, then you're going to have a bad time in team fights. And so they pick up Snaking the Bat Rider, which gives them a little bit of initiation, which is quite important because not only do they have to deal with the Ember, but they also need a hero that can help deal with the Lone Druid. And I think Bat Rider is sort of well equipped for that, since you can pull the Lone Druid out of position. And Lone Druid's strength in team, or Lone Druid's success in team fights depends a lot on his positioning.
They do have a very kind of theoretical counter to the lasso with X mark, but certainly much harder to execute in practice than you would think on paper.
So I can't say that there's a particular team that wins the early game harder than the other. I think it will depend a lot on how much the supports on each team get done. Just because there's no really rock paper scissors kinds of matchups in the laning phase this game.
It does kind of feel like Flea has better lanes to go to gank though.
Yeah, definitely. There's a ton of kill potential coming from the Snaking, the Bat Rider Sand King potential lane, but also just Ancient Apparition and Void is quite a potent lane combo, especially against a hero like Beastmaster who has no escape mechanisms. But you know, if Universe watches his positioning well, he should be able to get EXP in the lane and should be able to survive. But Francis, I think, is known for being able to identify, or position 4 players in general are known for being able to identify pick-off opportunities. And there's definitely a lot of them this game.
All right, hopping into this one, VGJ.Storm looking to keep their hopes alive this grand final. EG up 2-0. And TPing down almost simultaneously to the bottom area of the map.
I think they saw Crit. Crit wasn't smoked, so VG.Storm, they have a little bit more information about this. These ward positionings coming out from EG. And Crit has 2 wards to plant, but it looks like this Void is already going to spot out one of them. Actually, they might actually initiate on Crit here.
Yeah, they do have vision of him. Oh, he's putting a couple right clicks into Flea, and this may be his downfall. Gets up to the high ground, gonna get cold feeded, but now the entire EG lineup is there. And Sumail, Orin, does not connect. So Sumail will opt not to skill just yet. And EG will save Crit. And he will
Bit of an even exchange there.
Comforted by Sumail's chat wheel. Now, seeing all those heroes bottom, Arteezy's going to throw his bear towards, you know, the bounty rune area top.
Right, Sumail's doing that. Sumail just killed a shared tango. He's doing that trick where you like drop an item, attack it, and pick it up at the last second.
And he killed it.
Well, he killed the tango. Poor tango, dude. If he dies in this lane, because of that, I'm gonna laugh. You're gonna flame him.
I guess 1 from Fear and 1 from Crit, so pick your poison as to which support is angry that their tango went to waste. But
I mean, I'm sure none of them even noticed, right? Only Sumail knew. No one spam pinged them, so I suspect that he didn't tell anyone. Just gave the chat wheel.
Wow, big block advantage for the Dire side here, or in the early going.
Also, just the lane advantage in general. They have a Lich, the range creep is denied. Should give Ember a decent start. I mean, they are soaking EXP though.
Bottom lane Universe, as you touched upon earlier, probably going to be the most threatened hero in this early game, and Flea nearby, but he seems to be aware of the Sand King's positioning. Well, goes for a tango, and that just may be his downfall here, as the cold feet likely to proc. A couple more right clicks into him. There's no chilling touch yet, though. So actually is tanky enough to survive with that 6 armor and the poor man's shield.
You know what? The creeps are actually pushing into his tower, so that works in his favor since he's gonna hit maybe level 2 or 3 off of that.
No
really,
pull.
I think what he's accomplishing here is he's locking up this AAA in this lane, so the AA can't rotate to another lane. kind of sapping EXP, and the Sand King also has to sort of stay in this lane because it definitely feels like the Sand King can get more done in the bottom lane just because there's a Lich and an Ember in the mid lane.
Universe securing the last hit on the range creep, but is rather low as far as mana and health go, so maybe makes his way
Mid
back.
lane.
Meanwhile, mid, yeah. Blast comes off onto 747. They have chains, but didn't feel the kill potential was necessarily there, so Mail wisely so will hold his spells. Lee doing the bounty rune relay. And they have some vision here on the Radiant side, so he should feel pretty safe to do this. Arcane Rune going to spawn bottom, and Sand King will pick up his bounty. RTZ going to get the enemy ones on his bear as well.
Crit's level 2 now, so we'll see if he tries to make a rotation. There is a little bit of kill potential on this Necrophos just because the Ember Spirit's about to hit level 3, and the Necrophos is kind of pushed up in a weird position, so Crit positions himself here. I don't know if they'll have the damage just because...
Well, Root goes out, X swap is there, and into the Torrent. He does not have a Ghost Shrub, and they'll kill him off. Fear's the one with the Frost Blast to finish him off.
So a cool rotation from Crit. They managed to send that a kill, and he's actually way ahead of Francis in terms of levels. Francis is still level 1 on the Sand King, kind of hasn't really gotten anything done, and I think part of that is just Universe's smart positioning in this bottom lane. Hasn't really taken a lot of damage after that first exchange, so he's sitting on a happy level 3.
Not sure if side pull was executed before this from Snaking, but RTZ only 10 CS at this point. And it definitely doesn't feel all that threatened in this lane. Has skilled up, you know, the Rabbit as opposed to the Savage Roar here, but it does seem like he's missing a few creeps.
Yeah, I wonder why he's missing those creeps actually, because I don't feel like he's really been contested this lane, especially since Snaking hasn't really done anything aggressive. But talking about this lane, Crit is rolling in from the side.
As are the
So is
VGJ
Francis,
supports, yeah.
This could be bad for EG, but
Up into the Firefly Snaking goes. Do they have the damage beforehand to bring him down? They will. And they're actually fairly healthy as well. So Flea's going to rotate through, but not sure if they can kill him. They do get the cold feet off. RTZ going to be in a little bit of trouble here as it does proc. And they will find the return kill. Crit has a Torrent available. He needs to guess right here. But actually the Tidebringer is enough for him to find the kill. Snaking going to rotate back in. He's going to have to use this Torrent defensively and will not be able to land it. Gets the Magic Stick up. So he will at least make Vici work for this. But more than likely they'll kill him off here. And they do.
Crit with the Swag Bringer. Kill finish.
Looking like attacker there.
Hell yeah.
Lee making his rotation over to the bottom lane where Universe not far enough up, it feels, to die off here, but they will grab the bounty rune for now and perhaps think about making a move.
I think there's going to be a point in this game where Sumail's just going to take over because Necrophos can't break the Flame Guard on Ember Spirit easily, so at about level 5 I think Sumail's going to, or EG are going to have a lot of kill potential.
Oh, Snaking. Very cool move from Crit here. He shows in the mid lane, forces a TP out from Flea, and looks to find Snaking top. Unfortunately for him, Snaking just makes it down. And with only the level 1 X range, very difficult to get in close. So they won't grab anything for now, but would have been cool if they were able to execute it. Sumail though. Well, Burrow Strike only level 1. He's able to make it out away. Puts the Flame Guard on for safe measure. And gonna do a little bit of bottling up.
Interestingly enough, VG.Storm, they have the sentry in the river that theoretically sees this Observer Ward on the left side of the river, but
could be in trouble here. X coming through. Torrent gonna follow. Need a root here. They'll get one, and that'll be enough.
Easy root. These rotations aren't working out for VG.Storm, right? I mean, the AA and the Sand King have been running around for a while, but EG
like
have just been getting kills anyway.
Yeah, it feels like Crit plays proactive, and Flea and Sand King have been playing a little bit reactive. And by virtue of this, I mean, Universe has had some good time in the bottom lane to kind of 1v1 this Void. He's got 22 CS now. And level 5 on the Beastmaster.
Well, they find Crit.
Torrent goes out top lane. Crit will be okay for now. Arteezy nearby. Didn't have the Savage Roar available, but maybe just the apparent threat of it forces the VGJ.Storm side to dodge.
EG might try to go for a kill on this Necrophos.
Right under a ward. Yeah.
Yep.
And as soon as they see the Necro back, Sumail goes back to farming, so like they're aware here.
Kind of an interesting smoke actually, but I'm sure they did it because they wanted to increase the chances of making this gank work in case that ward was on the low ground instead of the high ground. Unfortunately for them, VGJ.Storm, they spotted out, and right now EG have a very narrow net worth lead. I think a lot of that is because of VGJ.Storm doing well in 2 of their lanes this game.
Dire Scan's gonna catch Flea in the trees, and will make his way to safety as Arteezy pulls the wave just to keep it back and underneath his tower. Meanwhile, mid lane, Sumail jumping forward. Has the chains here. Frostblasts are inbound. Had the remnants as well, but didn't think he could totally kill off the Necrophos. And he had 17 stick charges, so wise play from Sumail. Meanwhile, though, on the north side, the Torrent finds Flea, and they'll get a kill anyways.
Not your best effort.
Very smart movement from Sumail.
This Necrophos is effectively unkillable with Ghost Shroud and 17 wand charges. Yeah. Gets to instantly heal 600 health approximately, including the death pulse.
Bounty.
Not much happening at the moment. Looks like Ritsu is backing off for a bit. We'll see if he tries to make a smoke play or something. I think maybe he's missing because, well, in the mid lane.
Perhaps baiting in a bit is, Rioya, but they come through with the Chain Frost and the Torrent gonna connect. Remnants are there as well. Flea's gonna be slowed up. Chains are actually gonna whiff, but it's not gonna matter as Sumail will be saved. Beautifully baited there. And as you mentioned, the real struggle there for Necrophos, simply unable to break that level 3 Flame Guard. And 747 will pay for it in the mid lane.
Never refuse gold.
Flame Guard, it makes it really deceiving for Necrophos to Reaper Sight them, so I ended up doing very little damage. EG, they come with a quick exchange. I mean, apparently Necrophos dies if you Chain Frost them, by the way, so pro tip there.
So, one cancerous hero defeats the other. What do you know? Interesting.
It's the cancer rock paper scissors, right? I'm sure Lich wins all of those matchups, by the way, just by virtue of taking away their EXP.
Also true. Snake King, couple of spills in this one, 1, 2, and 1 on the Bat Rider, but 1,000 gold in his pockets. Yeah.
With Ritsu this time.
Jump forward, Chronosphere is going to catch Arteezy. They're looking for the bear first, in fact, and they're going to be Savage Roared away. So first Chronosphere, well, interesting.
Deny it, crit. Alright, so that wasn't the most ideal chrono, right? And I actually forgot to mention that Sand King is one of the better heroes against Lundred, just because in an ideal scenario, you can actually stun both the bear and the hero, and then the bear doesn't get the Savage Roar. In that case, the chrono wasn't exactly perfect, so they weren't able to follow it up with the Sand King stun. Ideally, like, he would have stunned before the chrono ended, but I don't think he had the right angle or correct range, seeing as how he's only level 4, so would have been a very close stun.
Crit level 5 making his way towards the mid lane alongside Fear. And they do have the Chain Frost. They're going to run into Flea, though, in the trees. Crit, though, still. Going to find the initiation here. Torrent is there as well. X back. Flea does not go in. He finds Fear on the backside. Chain Frost is going to fly out. Reaper's Scythe trying to kill off Fear. Fear still surviving. Gets the Frost Blast off at this point. Chain Frost bouncing. It kills off the Necro. And Lich confirmed Necro counter. DD Rune on Sumail. He's got a Remnant. He's going to jump forward. Get the chains off onto Ritsu. And a double kill for the Ember Spirit. Flea going to get a Burrow Strike off. And it's simply to sound his retreat as EG take a decisive teamfight win in the mid lane.
I think at this point it's just safe to say that EG are outplaying VGJ.Storm in every lane, and VGJ.Storm, they aren't out of this yet. They have a lot of ways to catch heroes think as soon as they get the level 6 on AA, they actually have a lot of kill potential on the enemy team, especially because you have those big initiation spells, Lasso and the Chronosphere. So I think for now, VGJ.Storm, they should just recollect themselves, make sure they get the farm they need on their heroes in order to make these fights happen. And a lot of the time, it just feels like maybe VGJ.Storm are overconfident, or in a way, they're sort of like setting themselves up to be ganked, because in a lot of these exchanges, the VG supports or the VG rotations were coming in, but
Universe defensive roar onto the Batrider. Afraid of getting lassoed there. Now Crit gonna come through, and they actually may have some kill potential here. Flea jumps forward though, and now Snaking gets the lasso on Crit. And Universe can only watch in horror as his Kunkka is burned to death.
That's something for VG.Storm, but it feels like in a lot of these engagements, VG.Storm's coordination doesn't seem up to par, or their timing doesn't seem up to par, so they're down
an arcane rune here, top.
Down 7 kills, down 3k net worth at 12 minutes. Hopefully they get levels on this Ancient Apparition, who should be 6th very shortly, and they try to make something happen off of this, because, I mean, Vici has a ton of burst potential, right, between Reaper's Scythe and Ancient Apparition ulti.
Mill mid lane. Gonna pop up the Flame Guard and look to pressure into this tower, maybe gain some information for his squad. He does have the defensive remnant up in the dire jungle, and so not feeling all that threatened. Snaking in a roll through, doesn't have much mana. The lasso is also down, and EG are aware of that as it was used on Crit. Bottom lane, but he will take out this wave. Now top lane, 747 in trouble as they're TPing on top of the bear, and he is left for dead. Savage Roar not gonna land, but they get the kill with ease. That's the easy side. Talked about the Boots of Travel TP onto the Hawk. Forgot to mention the bear. And Sumail will grab up a very important kill on the Necro.
It's an important kill, and it really just continues EG's lead and going into the mid game. Snaking, however, has completed his blink, so VG.Storm, they can start making moves. They have to be careful of how they make the moves, though, because EG are quite a bit ahead, so if VG aren't careful, they can end up getting counter-initiated on by the Chain Frost, by the Boat, by the Ember Spirit, and it could be bad news for them. So hopefully they're discussing right now what kind of targets they can go for, where they can go for them, and when. Looks like they actually pinged out mid. Flame Guard is up for a very long time, so looks like Sumail backs up, however.
Snaking does have the blink ready. VGJ looking for a move here. Slowly up to the high ground they'll go. No one... Oh, Arteezy now in the vicinity. Sends his bear out and will spot the Batrider. They'll kill off the bear. Nice bounty of 300 gold for Flea. However, Arteezy does retreat to safety. And Universe with the Inner Beast level 3 here. Shoving in the bottom lane.
And Frost Armor is the best counter push in the game. But VG.Storm, they posture around this tier 1, and EG, they have to watch their positioning, right? Because if they get caught in a weird position,
there is a chrono available. Ritsu gonna make it back. They slight chains onto the Batrider. Now they have the X-Torn Bolt combo. They will get the Flame Break there, and a nice blink out from Snaking keeps him alive. Meanwhile, north side, Chrono is gonna find the Universe, the Beastmaster. They get the Ice Blast off. He gets the Roar off, however. Chain Frost now gonna jump through. Doesn't bounce very well this time for Fear, however. Now the Necro in trouble. Needs this Reaper Scythe to land. It will not. Sumail comes in, kills off the Necrophos, chains up onto Snaking, will get the Batrider, and on the back end of that fight, Sumail gonna salvage it for EG, as they did lose Universe early and were being threatened to lose Arteezy as well. But again, 747, they're able to shut him down in these fights in a large part due to the Chain Frost that have been thrown out from Fear.
And just the amount of magic damage that EG have coming out of their lineup. And I think the important thing that happened in that fight is it looked like Vici had a good initiation on the Beastmaster, but Arteezy came in with a Savage Roar on his bear, and it just made 3 of Vici's heroes run into a really weird position, right? They couldn't help the Void with the Chrono anymore. Instead, Ritsu just TPs out in the middle of the Chain Frost, and EG could continue catching heroes like the Necrophos and the Batrider. Both teams is doing a little bit of a reset right now. I mean, EG are convincingly ahead. Almost a 6k net worth made, and they have the lead on
Oh, Sumail could be in trouble here. And he will get burrowed and lassoed up. This is a big kill for them to find. They'll expend absolutely everything. And feel good about doing so. Boat gonna come through from Crit. Try to ensure that he survives here. Snake King could be in a little trouble. Arteezy, Mask of Madness up on the high ground. Snake King gets X'd. Back into the Torrent and will be Frost Blasted down. Now Universe gonna find the Primal Roar. Do they have detection, however? He's gonna be stunned up. So out of the Sandstorm for that reason. And somehow Fear gets the kill there. Meanwhile, 747 being chased down by Arteezy, but has a Shrine. And will Reaper Sight the Bear. That's never feels good.
I think Arteezy spamming that because he realized he's probably telling his team, yo, they just dang Reaper Sight my bear. I mean, it's totally worth it, right? Plus 300 gold. Let's give 7% some much needed farm. And that whole engagement there, I mean, the VG.Storm, they did a really good job of picking out the Ember.
Torrent, connects onto Ritsu. They get the chains off as well. He's forced to Chronosphere, gets caught with the big boat, and will try to time walk away into the trees. Do they have anything left for them? They do not. But that is a Chronosphere and a Reaper Scythe now on the sidelines for this Radiant lineup.
That whole engagement, or speaking earlier, was a little bit of an overextension from VG.Storm. Right? They ended up losing Thanking and Francis, and EG with a gank attempt on the Void, but the Void had to expend his Chrono defensively, so that gives a little bit of an opening for EG if they decide to do something when their Ghost Ship comes back up.
Solar Crest picked up by Universe as well, so if they start to continue to expand their map and vision control, they can look for Roche. Meanwhile, bottom lane, snaking under the cover of an invisibility rune.
I think the important thing to note here
is
see
some of the EG heroes and looking to bring in support. Now walking over a ward is the Ancient Apparition. Ice Blast gonna fly through. Snaking looking for a target. Doesn't really find one. Ice Blast connects onto 2. Then the Primal Roar on the south side is gonna take the AA out of this fight. Sumail finishes off Snaking. Jumping forward for more is Crit. And Arteezy now gonna join the fray. Run right click with the Solar Crest debuff. Is gonna find them a kill. Crit does drop down to 747, but he's out all by his lonesome now. Chains will not land, unfortunately, for EG's side, and that'll just delay the inevitable. But they will get a double kill for Arteezy as EG bring in everyone. Snaking looking to set up, but the hunter became the hunted as 2 more heroes, unbeknownst to him, lay in the fog for EG.
The important thing is that VG.Storm don't have consistent sources of damage, so if they don't land all of their spells on one hero or a few heroes, then they sort of just lose the team fight slowly, as we saw there. And, you know, Void had already used this Chrono, so it was sort of a weird position for VG.Storm to be in the first place, and they get punished for it.
Arteezy just with a couple of right clicks and Maelstrom procs, taking half of Snaking's health away. Bottom lane, but will be forced off of the tower nonetheless.
I think VG.Storm have to keep looking for pickoffs, and they have to be smart about their positioning, at least for the time being, because they really don't have any. Their ability to team fight is really weak until the Void starts getting some more items. Because if the Void can't burst the target one-on-one, then the Necrophos has to help out, right? And if the Necrophos helps out, then they kind of only get one target, and EG have plenty of heroes that need to be targeted in these fights.
And Arteezy, as you previously stated, has done a good job of kind of throwing the bear in the back lines when the Chrono comes out. So only adding to your point there. Torrent gonna look to sound the retreat for the EG side. Snaking with a Blink Dagger in 2 seconds, but a little bit too late on the cooldown there for him to make an initiation. Meanwhile, Universe finding some time in the top lane. And he's kind of been the one to die, it feels, or get forced out of the fight in these last couple engagements. So it would be really nice for him to get his Blink Dagger. Taking some damage here is the VGJ.Storm's Necrophos. Meanwhile, Lasso is going to find one. The Ice Blast flies out as well. Reaper Scythe is there. They'll throw everything on the Fear Lich. Now a bolt comes through, connects onto 2. And EG with the counter initiation. Beautiful chrono, though, coming out from Ritsu. But do they have the follow-up here from distance? Arteezy putting work into Ritsu. Now the Primal Roar comes out. Down goes the Necrophos. Stan King's AA is next. And Flea hanging around will be Savage roared up, chained, and brought down. And it's a 5-man wipe, as 3 ultimates were used from the Vici side simply to kill a Lich, and EG respond with force.
You can see Vici's ability to take a 5-on-5 fight is really limited just because they rely on spells to burst a single hero, and then what, right? I mean, Arteezy, or EG in general, they've been watching their positioning really well, making sure they're not getting caught with multiple heroes by that, by like a good chrono, right? I mean, that chrono was good, but there wasn't any follow-up to it just because Vici had already expended so many of their spells for that Lich. And as a result, you see this classic machine gunner lone druid in the back just dealing so much damage outside of the chronosphere from 1,000 range away.
Sniper 2.0. As well, Sumail opted for the Blink Dagger, so you mentioned their positioning, and they definitely have the tools to make it possible. Now here, top lane, they need a root from Arteezy. One hit won't do it. The second one does, but he gets the burrow away. However, the X is there from Crit. Nicely played by the Kunkka of EG, and they will not only take the tower, but Flea's Sand King as well. Ritsu forced the Time Walk up to the high ground, and the rest of EG going to continue their push in towards mid lane.
EG doing a really good job after that fight. You know, VG, they don't have Chronosphere anymore, so EG are feeling confident about just pushing that tier 2, going for kills even under the tier 2, so EG definitely feeling a little bit confident here. Decides to go for this tier 2 wall.
2-person slight chains. The Torrent and the Bolt going to come out as well, and they do take out the Necro. 747 on the sidelines, 45 seconds, does have buyback. Meanwhile, Snake King goes down elsewhere across the map, as he's going to be taken out to the Beastmaster, and just seems like Universe maybe solo. Fear probably nearby him. Now, Battle Cry going to be popped up by Arteezy. Jump forward. Nice Savage Roar for Arteezy. Will keep him safe for the time being. 2 heroes on the sideline. Not sure if Ritsu wanted to expend the chrono there anyways. And it looks like EG will be forced back for now.
This is the ideal scenario for EG and sort of the nightmare scenario for VG right now. They're able to use the mobility of their Ember Spirit and their Lone Druid to go for these pickoffs on various parts of the map. They don't need a lot of resources to make these pickoffs happen just because they're so far ahead, and VG's lineup isn't really configured to dodge these gank attempts, and as a result you see kills happening all over the map. You know, just the Lone Druid and then Kunkka together killing a Sand King, and then the Beastmaster Lich killing Bat Rider top, and then Sumail just going crazy and killing a Necrophos that was under his tier 3. So VG definitely backs against the wall. Game 3. They have to look for something. They have to look for some kind of opening in EG's movements to make something happen. I mean, their heroes are more than capable of it. They just have to make sure that the counter initiation isn't there.
Necrophos could be in trouble. Sumail coming in. Jump forward from Universe. Gets the Primal Roar off. Sumail jumping through. Gets the Veil off. And they're going to bring him low. He will get a heal off for now. Rod of Atos is there. He's going to try and TP out. And he'll be successful in doing so. So 747 surviving for now in the bottom lane. Sumail TPing up top. And they're going to try and pincer in Snaking here. They should be able to get there with Crit. He gets the X off. Torrent is there as well. And for safe measure, they'll drop down the Shark. As Arteezy is on a wicked 6 streak. Into the pit he'll go, pop up the War Cry, and the Rabid will be there as well. Meanwhile, Torrents are just being thrown out sparingly here to... Well, jump forward, Chrono catches one. It's going to be Arteezy. Ice Blast's going to fly through as well. They're going to buy back on the Bat Rider. Savage Roar is there, and now on the south side, Sumail shredding through the back line. Arteezy getting pretty low here. Snake King trying to bring him down. X is going to be there from Crit. Probably on the wrong target. Arteezy trying to make it away. Will burn down to the Flame Break. And now Sumail buying back. Fear under the cover of Glimmer Cape. They're going to jump forward. Universe has a Primal Roar available if he wants to turn and use it. Sumail got his TP canceled, or maybe he had the TP on cooldown, but he's walking over to the pit here. A couple of different buybacks from both sides. The Snake King Batrider buyback and the Ember Spirit buyback from EG. EG really putting a lot of importance on this Roshan attempt, and now with no Chronosphere, they feel it's worth the buyback. Meanwhile, on the north side of the pit, Primal Roar finds Snake King out, and Universe pretty much alone kills off the Batrider. Now he's got support inbound. They get the chains off onto Ritsu. They'll finish him off. Ice Blast will probably kill off Universe here, but Flea in trouble as the sentries drop down. Now the Necrophos in all by his lonesome. They're going to buy back on the Void and the Sand King. Sand King not able to TP in to the Shrine just yet, and both teams very much so thinking about this Roshan. And jump forward from Ritsu. He's going to get chained up. The boat's going to fly through. It connects. The Void in trouble. Needs to be able to time walk away, but he's Massive Madness silenced. And he'll drop. Now 747 out of mana. Flea rotating through from the south, but he's not going to be there in time, it feels. They do get the Ghost Shroud off. Jump forward. Savage Roar is going to be there, and a little more damage will be enough. Flea now. He's going to join the fray, but perhaps just a chain feed, and GG is called. Game 3, Evil Geniuses are going to take the best of 5, 3-0, and the first major of the season will showcase North America's most popular team and arguably most skilled team as well. Franz, EG, they're going to go through to ESL One Hamburg.
Yeah, congratulations to Evil Geniuses. I mean, they played extremely well. I think they outplayed VGJ.Storm at pretty much every phase of this game and every phase of the previous games. And so a well-deserved victory.
Yeah, Sumail, as you mentioned, kind of just hit that point, his early power spike, and started to get to work alongside Crit. And they were able to get a lot done in that early game. 14-2-12 on the Ember Spirit for Sumail. And Arteezy, not nearly as pressured in this one. But as you mentioned, the movement just really good overall from EG, guys. They are going to make it through to ESL One Hamburg, joining Liquid, Newbie, Keen Gaming, and remaining to be seen the other couple of qualifiers in the EU CIS region. So EG to their first major. Congratulations to them. They'll shake off the defeat against Leviathan and BSJ God yesterday. But until then, thank you guys for joining us so much. I hope you enjoyed the cast. If you did, you can follow myself over on Twitter at MRP Dota, and you can follow my lovely and always insightful co-caster at Hello Franz, FRONZ, on Twitter. Franz, any last words for the crowd?
I mean, thanks for watching. Those are some fun games to watch, and see you guys in the future.
Yeah, it's absolutely been a fun run through these qualifiers. Thank you to Join Dota and ESL for having us on, and thank you guys for the support. Till then, MRP and Franz signing out. Congratulations, each.